right up. Don't be shy. Get your free bottle of snake oil right here. For morning crew folks only. What it do, 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 what it do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Good whatever it might be, wherever you might be. Let's shed some light on myself here. I'm sitting in the dark like a creepy neckbeard or something. Let's pretend I live in a world of light and substance like the rest of you. After all, if I don't wear your skins, you don't trust me. Good morning, Salt Lord. Good morning, Tism Lord. Hope everyone's doing okay. I'm leaving to work 90 hours out of town this week, no overtime. It sounds like you're getting shafted. Sounds like you're getting properly shafted, my friend. Looking a little blue today. How's that? Is that better? Oh, here comes the blue again. Damn. Pollen profile view is very nice. I always thought I had a pretty weak profile because I got this giant beak of a nose. I just like the cool shit I can do with these lights, man. Definitely going to be making use of these for my Cinema versus Cynics reviews. You know, I can, on the fly, basically make each light in whatever color I want. I like the red and blue strobes. You know, if I'm ever doing something about a cop, you know, or a cop drama or something, and just turn on my red and blue strobes. And all of a sudden, here we are. Everybody's getting gaffled up. All right? I hate to tell you guys this, but I'm undercover with the U.S. Department of Tism Control, and all of you are going to have to come with me. That's right. Every last one of you is going to have to come with me. Swatted, dude. Globalists get free helicopter rides? They do? I was not aware of that. Tism bail money? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I didn't even realize any of you had posted bail. Count Spankula did nothing wrong. Are we still on that, man? I'm just waiting for people to move on and forget about the Dankula thing. It won't be long. It's just, you know... Wish you could hit the fast forward button sometimes. Hey, Paul. I'm writing a movie review for Black Panther right now, and I gotta say, this shit is mind-numbing. Don't know how you do it as a job. I'm telling you, man. I mean, the good movies that I get to review, even the bad ones that I enjoy in some way, make up for movies like Black Panther, which are just startlingly mediocre. The Count from Sesame Street did nothing wrong. Who said he did? I don't remember accusing the Count from Sesame Street of jack shit. What'd you think about Shape of Water? I reviewed it on my Cinema for Cynics channel. Go check it out. Worst Marvel movie you've seen thus far? I mean, you've seen the first Thor, right? I wouldn't put it as the worst Marvel movie. The first Thor movie was pretty painful. Fucking Iron Man 3 was pretty painful. Apparently the Florida school shooter's dick pic got leaked. Ooh. Let me go look that up. Hey, Paul, if you like gore, Blood Sea might be a good anime for you. I personally can't stand those levels of excessive gore, but you might like it. Did you watch Song in the Sky yet? No. Like, the time that I have that I could possibly dedicate to watching anime diminishing every day. Anime's pretty low on my to-do list. Alex Jones accused all Sesame Street dwellers of being agents of the NWO. Oh. Big Bird is from the NWO. What about Oscar the Grouch, man? He lives in a fucking trash can. How could he possibly be part of the New World Order? Blood Sea is edge-tastic garbage. Do not waste your time on that trash. See, this is why so few people are able to get into the weeaboo shit. You guys are so contentious with one another, so argumentative, and none of you agree on a goddamn thing. You're all just running around and cosplaying as your favorite character that nobody cares about. You know what I mean? It's just not accessible. No, you're getting the snake oil. Every one of you that tunes into this, even once, is getting a full dose of the snake oil. Trust me. I've been programming your minds this whole time. You think we're doing cultist episodes? Think all that research is just for some internet podcast? I'm grooming all of you. Waco or wake up, people. And you know what the funny thing is? Is that even though I've admitted that I'm openly grooming the lot of you for future manipulation into my cult, you'll still be here. And you'll still allow me to do it. Because you want it secretly. You want to be led into the woods to help me build my new society. Yep. Welcome to the Hotel Tism. You can troll anytime you like, but you can never leave. Not at this point on the fucking list. Oh, man. Would you be the messiah of your cult, or just a messenger of a higher being? I mean, I think you know the answer to that. Will there be DFFs about YouTube personalities? I hesitate to say no. There might be. I don't know that we have any planned at the moment, but I hate to preclude it. Paul, you mentioned before that you had brain zaps. Could you tell more? I have them now. It's scary. I mean, yeah, it's hard to explain to somebody that's never had it. It's like a tingling sensation that starts what feels like in your frontal lobe, somewhere behind your eyes, and then just kind of rolls through your brain like a wave. It's a tingle. It's not a pleasant tingle, though. It's like a momentary kind of impingement on your consciousness. I mean, you know, like, I don't really see us DFFing other YouTubers just for the sake of drama, but, like, you know, if some big issue happens, we might weigh in on it. Do you experience ASMR? I never have, no. It's most likely due to blood pressure or sinusitis, maybe stress-induced. It was actually a side effect of the SSRI I was taking. It was a good guess, though. Can you DFF the whole AIDS epidemic? What angle would you want us to take? I mean, you just DFF AIDS and just talk about, like, where it came from, how it spread. I mean, it's definitely a dense topic. The stigma that came with it, the anti-homosexual bigotry that it was used to justify, the multiple failed attempts at the government to mitigate the damage of the spreading sexual plague. Yeah, a lot of people died. A lot of people's lives ruined. DFF on Che Guevara. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. The CIA, the KGB. Those would all be really interesting. Did you hear that Andy Worski, and you're going to want to sit down here, talk shit about DP with J? Oh my God, you're kidding me. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that one of them, I don't know which, went on the Drunken Peasants, and then, I think it was JF, right? Yeah, he said that. I remember TJ getting into a back and forth with him on Twitter, too. So JF goes on the Drunken Peasants, and then almost immediately after getting off the Drunken Peasants, goes on a Worski stream and starts talking shit, and Worski piles on. Like, that's crazy, dude. Who does something like that, man? I thought Andy Worski had integrity, bro. Man. I could have sworn he had integrity. I don't take any psychological or psychotropic medications at the moment, and don't plan on ever doing so again. For me, and you know, not to dissuade other people from taking them, because if they work for you, then you should take them. And if you don't know if they work for you and you suffer, then you should try them. But for me, they're not worth the trade, especially not with the job that I have now. You know, I could afford, at least in a lifestyle way, to sacrifice some of my ability to be creative and to think spontaneously and comedically and stuff. You know, I was working a job that didn't lean so heavily on those particular talents, but now it'd be almost unthinkable for me to go on one of those drugs. Yeah, that's funny, Chasen. I mean, whatever, dude. It's just a constant swirl of drama, and it just seems to just fucking. I don't know, dude. I'm just glad that I may have to touch that world in the future in various ways, but I'm just glad I don't live in it anymore. No disrespect to either side, honestly. Do what you got to do to get views, but man, that is one thing that I'm really glad that is mostly behind me. I mean, of course, you dip your toe in now and again. Drama, drama, drama. Man, I get really exhausted. I'll speak candidly with you guys about something. I get totally fucking exhausted. And I know that this is really it's probably the focus of the trolls to do this, but just the constant barrage of stupid, drama-laden bullshit that leaks into every aspect of my life. You know what I mean? Because it's just not something that you can remain even somewhat engaged in the content you're creating and avoid. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm running for the hills or anything, but it's definitely one of my least favorite things about the job. Just people's dogged determination to just be a constant fucking thorn in the nutsack of everything that you do. Just hoping desperately for a reaction, not unlike the one I'm giving them now, but you get my drift. The internet is anarchical. This is what you get. Oh man, dude, if only that were true. You see, man, this is part of the problem with the internet. Red Home Skillet just kind of put a neon sign over it with an arrow pointing straight down at the problem. The internet takes itself way too seriously and thinks it's way more free-thinking and informed than it actually is. A lot of denizens of the internet think that the internet is this place of intellectuals, and really it's mostly a place of drooling dumbassery and jerking off. I mean, let's be honest about what the internet is and what it's used for. And that's one of the hardest things to argue with people about, because there are people that are really committed to this idea that not only the internet in general, but their personal presence on the internet is somehow meaningful. When really it's just like a footprint in the sand on a beach when the tide's rolling in, you know what I mean? Among a million other footprints that are about to get washed away every day and wiped completely clean. I mean, it would, the internet probably would be something I would call anarchical. And I guess technically it is. I mean, there's no overarching structure on the internet, but goddamn do people love to band together. There's definitely too much structure to call it anarchy. If it was anarchy, it would be a freewheeling place where ideas, were openly exchanged, and people, if they were derided for having contrary opinion, it would be done in the open marketplace of ideas and not in attempts to deplatform and silence. That would be anarchy. The internet, I mean, look around, bud. If you think that is reflected at all in the internet, I'd like to see where and how. People band into tribes in anarchical environments. Well, then you've got a tribal society on the internet, heavily tribal. I mean, there may be pockets of the internet that reflect some, some of the tenets of anarchy. But most people willingly subject themselves to structures placed on them by the companies that own the websites that they communicate on. Like even a place called 4chan. You break the rules there, and what happens? That's not anarchy, my friend. I'm sorry. So, you're kind of willingly submitting yourself to the TOS of whatever website you decide to operate on. And if you step over that line, you're motherfucking gorn. That doesn't sound like anarchy to me, but maybe you and I have a definition problem. But if there weren't any rules, child prawn would be everywhere. Yep. Yep. If we were in tribes, we would share all the women. Cool. Well, you guys hang out, listen to the tunes for a couple of seconds. I'm going to run downstairs and grab something to refresh my parched throat with. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Refreshments have been gotten. We're good. We are indeed good. I feel 110% better. Now that I have wet my whistle and given my back a stretch. Did you wet your Japs eye? Oh, man. Come on, buddy. Come on, BJ Smirk. See any good documentaries lately? Not really. Unfortunately. I actually watched this one called The Institute the other day that was pretty good. About the Jejune Center for Advancement or whatever. This weird kind of alternate reality game / counterculture cult movement centered around just spending your life, at least part of your life, doing nonsense. They call it nonchalance. Pretty interesting. What's your favorite Schwarzenegger film? That's a good question. Predator is definitely near the top of that list, as would be Terminator and T2. I'd have to go with my gut and say Predator, honestly. I mean, there's something about, I don't know, dude. Something about that movie. It's just so fantastic. I mean, I love the Terminator franchise, and Total Recall is fantastic as well. But I'm telling you, man, Predator has something that the rest of them just don't. It has that little extra spice. Do I think that Ready Player One is going to be good? Probably not. It looks like it's a movie that's just aiming for, like, the, oh, I get that reference crowd. You know what I mean? Like, let's just pack as much, recent pop culture nostalgia into this film as possible. Now, I may be wrong about it. It may end up being pretty cool. Rambo versus the Predator, who wins? I mean, that would be a pretty epic battle. I think it'd come down to the wire, you know? What's your favorite Steve Buscemi film? Probably Reservoir Dogs. If not Reservoir Dogs, then The Big Lebowski for sure. One of those two. Where can we get these tunes? This is on a playlist. There's a YouTube channel called Royalty Free Planet that maintains a bunch of playlists with songs. These are synthwave songs. So this is their royalty free synthwave playlist. So you'll be able to find this stuff there. Do you think Inglourious Bastards would hold up if it didn't have Hans Landa? No. No. I mean, like, he's very central to the film. Even though he doesn't really have a whole lot of screen time relative to some of the other characters. I think that, I mean, he definitely was the glue that held that film together, at least for me. You chewing nugget ice? Yeah, like just, what you call it? Crushed ice. Any favorite fight scenes, Porl? In The Punisher, when he gets his ass beat by the Russian, but he boils his face and they fall down the stairs. That scene is badass. Yeah, that's a good fight. I mean, I know it's a little cliche to mention, but the old boy hallway fight scene, the single shot, I mean, that's one of the coolest fight scenes of all time. I thought that a lot of the fight scenes in the original Matrix were really cool, too. The final showdown between Neo and Agent Smith in the subway was really cool and well choreographed. Wire Fu. What's your opinion on DACA? I mean, the fact that Republicans are trying to put that genie back in the bottle after they've basically naturalized a bunch of people, and now they're trying to say, nope, no longer. No path to citizenship for you. It's just stupid and short-sighted. Xenophobia and, you know, all of that. It really is one of those things that, you know, people in foreign countries think that I know nothing about because I'm an American, when I'm living in a society that's been the subject of mass foreign immigration for far longer than you've been dealing with your little quote-unquote Muslim problem. But it's fact that the biggest percent of the dreamers are criminal offenders. I bet they're also in the lowest rung of, poverty as well. I wonder if there's correlations and factors outside of just which country they came from that contribute to the large prevalence of violence and arrest for violence in immigrant communities. Nah, couldn't be. Must be in their genes to rob people. Makes sense to me, bro. I'm back. Hey, Paul, whose ass you slamming tonight? I don't know. I don't even remember who I just responded to, honestly. Some races just have criminal genes, Paul. Get woke. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot. All hail the ethno-state and everything. The Muslim problem is so incredibly overhyped. Most countries in West Europe have less than 20% of people from an immigrant background. Yeah, I mean, like, look, there's been there's clearly a problem with radical Islamic terrorism in England, and I don't blame people for wanting to take steps to address it. But number one, acting like you're different than anywhere else on the planet, being subject to crime and, murder and mayhem at the hands of, undocumented immigrants is just silly and reductive. To think that you're the only target of that terrorism is silly and reductive. And to think that you're going to solve that terrorism by sewing up your borders and putting a big, brown people keep out sign on everything is silly and reductive. Yep, so now that you're in the same house, you have color coordinated the girlfriends by hair. Yep. Blue and pink, just so we don't get things mixed up. JF actually thinks political preference is genetic inheritance. I mean, I haven't heard him say that explicitly, but, I guess I wouldn't be shocked at this point. JF is IDOT. I agree, Jimmy Laser. He's a total IDOT. Find it funny when Europeans argue things they think would work in America when their country is the size of Rhode Island. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Now that they're part of the European Union, they at least have some frame of reference. I mean, America's quite a bit larger than the entirety of Western Europe as well, but whatever. You get my drift. Why does size matter? Well, because a lot of the problems that our society face have to do with how large and spread out our country is. We have problems that are particularly inherent to America because we have so much just almost endless land to expand out into. So while most of Europe builds smart around public transportation and easy to navigate cities, America builds out. Oh, kitty. You guys want to see this beast? Look at this beast. I swear he's doubled in size again. Look at him. Squeaks. You say hi to the people. He's so sleepy. He's just been trying to get up in my lap so he can curl up and go sleepies. Is it time for a cat nap, Squeaks? Time for some kitty kisses and a cat nap. Yeah, he's turning into a big dude. He's definitely lost all that skittishness that the kitten has and has now taken over the entire house. Like, there's no keeping him in the room anymore. We used to try and, keep him segmented away from the dogs when we first got him because they were real interested and he was obviously scared. But at this point, like, if I open that door and he wants to leave, I almost can't stop him. He just bolts. Just runs downstairs, does whatever he wants. So he's... Good old Senior Squeaks has definitely found his niche here at the house. If there was a worldview that you absolutely hated, but it happened to be incredibly successful in certain parts of the world, would you consider embracing it on a pragmatic level? I can understand the value of pragmatism, and maybe even that kind of extreme pragmatism where you go against but I'm just not built that way. I'm not built that way. I was raised by people who took some personal satisfaction from being an irritant against order. Now, I'm not saying that my parents were huge rule breakers, but both of them had this really fierce independent streak, and neither of them likes to be told what to do. And they passed that stubbornness and pig-headedness along to their son. And I've got it in spades, man. So I certainly can see the value in people that are able to be diplomatic in their pragmatism, but if it involved going against something that I believe to be true and correct, I wouldn't be able to tell myself the lie. I wouldn't be able to perpetuate it in public. Oh, thank you, Tree. Yeah, good old Squeaks McGeeks. Now clawing at my beard like a little shit. What should I mix with my mango or pineapple rum? Get the lime with the coconut, okay? Yeah? Just go tropical. Go totally fucking tropical with it. You know what I mean? Get the lime, get the coconut, get the mango, get the pineapple, and just make a fucking tropical bomb. See you, Doom Kid. Good night. Think that the media calling violent people of color terrorists, but they're calling violent white people lone wolves, has anything to do with white people tend to think bad? I mean, sure. I mean, that's just an example of it, right? if a white person who is devoutly religious even with clear religious motive here in America walks into a public place and shoots a bunch of people, they're going to be called mentally ill, which is probably true. They're not going to be called an extremist. They're not going to be called a terrorist. But you just put a different amount of melanin in the skin of a person and change their religion around, and how they're labeled is, totally different for some reason. And, and a lot of people, there's this new backlash against this SJW mindset and shit. And I get it. There are people that say that, there's nothing wrong with the word terrorist, call a spade, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And I get it, but I also lived through, 9/11 and saw the evolution of that word and how it became a word that just completely dehumanized people. And that mentality, I don't think, ever really left after 9/11. It certainly wasn't established on 9/11 or by 9/11, but it was definitely cemented at that time. And it was really scary how labels started being thrown around for people. So I do think it's a problem. Why do you think you are so anti-religion while your sister seems to love it? And how do you think your brother-in-law suckered your sister into it? I don't know that she was necessarily suckered into it. I just think that she was a willing participant in her own deception. I think that the currency that was exchanged was comfort. So she exchanged her principles for comfort. And once you're on the inside of religion, you're inside the fishbowl. It's hard to see out without distortion. So, make fun of me all you want, but, my sister is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. Maybe at the top of that pyramid. I mean, she is scary smart. But there is a big black box in her brain where she locks away all this religious nonsense from scrutiny. And once again, I think it's in exchange for comfort in her life, a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, a sense of there being some objective good out there that's watching out for you, a sense of, I don't know, I mean, a sense of calm about death. You know what I mean? The big scary void is now made into this happy place where you get to reunite with every pet you've ever lost and every person you've ever loved. It's all a very seductive idea, and I can see how intelligent people can get sucked into it. And I mean, in her defense, my sister didn't go from like absolutely zero religion to religion. We were both raised, kind of lapsed Protestant. My mom, when we were younger, would take us to church 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year maximum. As soon as we were old enough to make a judgment call on whether or not we wanted to do that, we weren't forced to and never really did. But we were still kind of instilled with those things. And so it wasn't as big a leap as you think it might have been. Do you still support that globalist system that you explained to Milo? I mean, I assume I do. I'd have to go back and watch the episode again to tell you if my position has changed, because I don't remember exactly how I presented it to him. It was quite some time ago. I just can't tell myself such things knowing it's not real. I equate it to believing in Merlin. Well, you know, I did a lot of arguing with my sister. Probably more arguing with my sister than I did with any other religious person in the history of my life. Because she and I were always that way, and that didn't die in her when she became religious, you know. I was still able to access that part of her. And she and I went fucking head-to-head constantly. It was just a constant argument. Each one of us was always looking for a way to step through the doorway of another argument. And, you know, finally, I think we both just kind of mutually made the decision to just back off and accept each other as best we could for what we are. Man, I don't need all these vocals behind my synth wave, thank you. I don't mind a drop here and there, but I don't need some dork trying to sing and shit. How many leaps does it take to get out of the center of religion? I don't know, man. I've never been in the center of religion. Do you believe that men and women are equally rebellious? No. Maybe they're rebellious in different ways, or maybe they're typically rebellious in different ways, but I wouldn't say that they're equals in that. Is this the same sister that got a burger stuffed up her nose because her and her friends were being a bunch of drunk bitches? Yep. Same sister. I mean, thank goodness men and women aren't equals, because if they were, you know, I would lay down next to a big dick every night. You know what I mean? Thank goodness there are differences between the sexes. Ashley would have a big one. Oh, she'd have a massive dick, dude. It's a little bit of both, Stargazer. I've settled into this weird pattern of sleeping in shifts, which always happens to me. It's pretty routine. I'll go through a week or two where it's like my body will go, all right, you know, it's late, it's time to go to bed, and I'll go do that. I'll lay down, I'll fall asleep for 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, and then I'll just wake up. Just like bolt upright in bed. And I'm just like, well, I'm not going back to sleep for a while, so I'll get up, go on about my day, and then eventually I'll start feeling like sleeping again, and it's like, all right, I'll lay back down and get 2 more hours of sleep. It's definitely not advisable, but whatever. My body seems to cyclically need to do it. Maybe it's like a part of rebooting my sleep schedule, or I don't know. What was your worst day at Starbucks like? I mean, I wish I could give you just like, a great, well-crafted story about the worst day I had there, but that part of my life has honestly become kind of a blur. I remember a few specific people and certainly the places I remember. But as far as like the dumb shit that happened while I worked there, I swept that shit under the rug long ago and replaced it with other bullshit. So I don't get how parents can allow a sister to treat her brother like crap like that. I know boys are not supposed to hit girls, but the specific inequality in this is infuriating. What are you talking about? Are there any other communities online that carry a low-key alt-right following? For me, it's pretty evident that the MGTOW community carries a low-key... You think so? I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn on the MGTOWs. Not that I'm worried about stepping on those toes, but... Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't travel them circles of the internet. Did you correct people with venti when they asked for a large? No, I just made them a venti and gave it to them. My philosophy, pretty much any kind of service job that I work, especially ones that are very rush-based like Starbucks, is the faster I can get your stupid ass out of my face and out the doors of my store, the quicker I can get on to the next stupid ass. And the happier probably both sides of the transaction will be. So I never did that nitpicky bullshit, correcting people and trying to fucking engage with the customers about the fucking coffee if they didn't want it. I was very like, let's just get this shit done. You came here, you don't want to hang around and learn about the origins of Indonesian mocha. Okay? You came in here to get a fucking caramel frappuccino, and oh, whoopsie daisy, it's already done. Thank you for your fucking money, and get the fuck out of my store, please. Your sleeping style is very similar to the olden days. He used to wake up in the middle of the night for an hour or so and then go back to sleep later. Not sure. Yeah, I remember reading that. And, yeah, maybe my body does this as a way of kind of naturally resetting itself a little bit. I don't know. It's Starbucks' fault for having pretentious drink sizes. Abso-fucking-lutely. That was always my position on it. It's like, if they wanted us to save that few seconds correcting people on the sizes and shit, they would have just called it small, medium, and large. Instead of inventing a bunch of non-words for their stupid fucking bullshit sizes. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the Starbucks job in a maybe a slightly masochistic way. Waking up like that is natural. It's because cavemen in the past had to wake up in the middle of the night to check on the fire. Is that really it? To give a specific instance, you see a female hitting a guy in the street. No one does anything. Then when the man tries to defend himself, suddenly everyone steps in. Well, I mean, okay. Yeah, is that right? No. Is it right for anybody to assault anybody else? No. Can I understand why there seems to be a different reaction, or a difference in severity in the reactions to a man hitting a woman than there is a woman hitting a man? Yes. Because men are, by and large, stronger, more physically capable than women. And it's, if you boil it down, it's almost looked upon as an unfair fight, right? Almost like a bully picking on the little nerdy kid at school or something. It provokes a visceral reaction in people. The woman, because she's smaller and less physically capable, usually, is looked on as the underdog. And immediately, the man, even if he's defending himself, without any context, is looked on as the aggressor. Do I agree with that sentiment? No. Do I understand why people have it? Yes. I honestly followed MGTOW for a good 2 years and only stopped because of the depressing and one-sided message it spewed, but also the low-key alt-right vibe I got from the vids and comment sections. Yeah, I mean, I don't really it's a different mindset, you know? I don't understand what draws men to that kind of a movement. The way I see it, you probably don't need to defend yourself. More than likely, you can be the bigger adult and just walk away. Of course, that isn't every situation, though. Absolutely not. Nor should men, be forced to take half measures in defending themselves because the assailant is female. Really, what it boils down to is nobody should be hitting anybody. But once again, I mean, I can understand the psychology behind it, if nothing else. Yeah, that's a little too bubblegum for me. I'm having to skip around a lot. This music is starting to wear on me. I'm hoping Marshall Manson comes through with some tracks that I can play in the background, because I'm starting to... I mean, some of them are just fine, but there's a certain mood that I'm looking for, and there's a wide variety of moods that are represented in this playlist. Like, this one is okay. Gated snares. Oh, yeah, dude. Gated snares and those high-pitched, chopped and screwed, anime girl vocals where they just take one syllable of what a girl is saying and turn it into, like, a musical note. Like, I guess to some people that sounds pretty and shit, but to me it's just annoying. It's like, okay, all right, can we not? I mean, I get it, it's probably cool the first few times I heard it or whatever, but now it's definitely overused in a way that, like, I'm just sick of it. Yeah, I mean, Ashley's really into that Vocaloid shit, and it's a lot of that stuff, too. Whatever. I'm not trying to shit on the music. I'm just saying it grates on my nerves sometimes. I mean, this is cool. I like the mellow vibe of it. I like the overall kind of low tempo of it. Kind of floaty synths and shit. That's the mood that I'm shooting for right now. But a lot of these songs are kind of designed to get, like, I think weeaboo butt cheeks slapping together at an anime con or something. I don't know. It's just not what I'm going for. So like vaporwave or future funk? Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, I don't know. Once again, they're both very dependent on the song and the artist. There's some vaporwave out there that's totally unlistenable, and there's some that's really cool. Same thing for future funk, in my opinion. Who trims your toe claws? I do. I sand them down myself, dude. I really hate mainstream music now. It's too formulaic and all of it sounds the same. I mean, rap is really the starkest example of that. This new, like, sing mumble bullshit with a bunch of triplets and shit. And then, you know, a bunch of fucking fills. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh god, alright. This again. It's like they're all trying to sound like the same dude. But the dude they're all trying to sound like sucks at rap. You know what I mean? Whatever. Oh shit, somebody's having a gun argument in the chat. That's right. Be at one another's throats. Squeaks fixed yet? No. He had his follow-up vet appointment, got his first round of shots, and they said, this was about a week and a half ago, and they said that he would be ready to be fixed in about a month. So he's got about probably 3 weeks left. I am the one to wake a ton, don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Why would you do that to Squeaks? Because I don't want Squeaks backing up and pissing all over my walls, furniture, and belongings. I'd rather enjoy Squeaks' presence, you know what I mean, and not hate him. His name is Squeaks. He's named. You ever let Squeaks outside, or are you keeping him? We're going to let him outside, you know, under supervision and shit. We just haven't yet because he hasn't had his full complement of shots yet. And we have been advised by the vet to not let him skulk around outside until he's fully inoculated. But once that happens, we plan on letting him kind of roam around the backyard when we're sitting out there and stuff. But he's mostly going to be an inside kitty. We're actually toilet training him. It's funny you should mention that. We just started with the tray inside of the toilet trick, and he's already using it. We're at stage 1, where you put their old litter box next to the toilet, and you show them the existence of this new higher litter box, and he's already using it pretty regularly. So, just a matter of getting him used to that. That's not true. There's a lot of good modern rap, and if the lyrics aren't, then you can at least appreciate. Well, yeah. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, the mainstream stuff. The stuff that's generally on the radio and stuff is just unintelligible garbage. Dudes singing that can't sing, that have to have their voices auto-tuned to an absurdly comical level to even come close to matching it, and yet they're all doing it. It's like, I don't understand. Thanks, remember my face. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Unless that's what you're into. Well, I think that we've had a good productive stream tonight. Well, thank you guys all for showing up as per the usual. I'll catch you next time.